Hey guys, Andrew here with Drew Fit. I want to thank you for tuning in. Today's video, how to lose weight while maintaining a certain level of health. This is a very popular topic this time of year. People going into summer wanting to shed weight, get more tone, get ripped, shredded, whatever you want to call it. But they don't want to suffer the consequences to dipping too low of a body fat percentage or weight. So I want to share some tips with you guys, but before I jump into that, I want to make it very clear that both men and women are significantly different when it comes to biology. So women are going to naturally have a little bit higher body fat percentage for certain health reasons, sexual hormone reasons, things like that nature. Men can dip a little bit lower and not suffer as many consequences, but you want to be very aware because everybody is genetically different. Some people can handle like 5 to 6% body fat to where that would just wreck other people. So you have to be very aware how you handle stress, how you handle low body fat percentage, things like that, and pay attention to the biomarkers. So I'll jump into the biomarkers on kind of like a metric system and how to measure if you're able to handle the low body fat percentage that you're at. So certain things to take note on. Sleep patterns is going to be very important. Pulse rate and body temperature, tolerance to stress, cognitive skills and memory, blood sugar regulation, just to name a few. You'll notice if you're dipping too low into a body fat percentage, that those things begin to decline. Your sleep becomes crap. Your tolerance to stress is no good. You get cold hands, cold feet. You tend to have short-term memory issues, things like that. So things to be aware of when you are trying to lose weight, especially dipping to a point where you're going to be like single-digit body fat percentage, you will begin to notice these things. So I want to put that out there, make it very clear. Those will be the things and some other things that people want to drop in the comments to pay attention to when losing weight. So the first thing I put here, caloric intake, consistency, and meal frequency. That's going to be very important for balancing your blood sugar. When you do drop to a low body fat percentage, your blood sugar will be dysregulated for a lot of people. And this can have major negative impacts on, you can become dizzy, lightheaded when standing up. Your sleep could be terrible. Cognitive skills can decline. So for me personally, when I go into a shred, I want to make sure that I am eating throughout the day. Usually 3 meals with 2 to 3 snacks in between, just small snacks, fruit usually, a good source of carbohydrates. And another thing I want to point out here is your protein requirements must be met. A lot of people like to suggest 1 to 1.2 grams per pound of body weight of protein. For me, I personally think you can get away with about 0.8 grams per 1 pound of body weight. And this will be directly impacted by not eliminating carbohydrates because the more carbohydrates you do consume, the less protein you can get away with, as it is very muscle sparing. So I like to have a nice balanced diet, good fat source, protein, carbohydrate. So that's my suggestion to you guys if you do want to maintain optimal health while losing weight. Another thing I noted here, when lowering caloric intake, take your workout duration and intensity into account. Obviously, you're consuming less energy, so you're going to have less energy to output while you're working out. And if you don't change your duration and you try to keep a high volume, high intensity while you're cutting calories, you will feel it substantially. You'll get gassed earlier in the gym. Your recovery time will be much shorter, and you'll feel a lot of those negative health effects. Things like your cognitive function can decline, your sleep can be jacked up. So my biggest piece of advice, and this is more for people that are pretty consistent with their training, don't be afraid to lower your volume and maybe even lower the intensity or weights a little bit when you are cutting. This will save you in the long run, especially with your nervous system. So something I like to do is like take 1 or 2 sets off per body part when you're training, and focus more on how you're moving the weight, and keep the intensity there, but don't overdo it is my biggest takeaway here, because if you do go for it hard every time you're in the gym on a caloric deficit, you will feel the negative effects, not benefits. So become more intent with activity levels and don't drain more energy than you can handle. Another note here, slow and steady wins the race. I know so many people that go into workout programs or wanting to lose weight, they're expecting to drop 5 pounds a week, get a 6-pack within a couple of weeks. That's just not feasible. If you're sticking consistently to your diet, to your caloric intake, to your workouts, to your sleep patterns, change will come. Just be patient. Slow and steady wins the race. And then that leads me to my last point, is proper supplementation. Supplements will vary in some areas for men and women. For men, I like to, prioritize keeping healthy testosterone and DHT levels. So I like to recommend supplements like gonadin, androsterone. A lot of people are kind of skittish on taking that stuff. I don't overdo it on those things because I do know they kind of impact your hormones. So slow and steady wins the race. I kind of gauge it from there. And for women, I like to, kind of point towards getting a good bioidentical progesterone supplement. There are a couple out there, but you want to support the male or female dominant hormones when going through an aggressive fat loss phase. Other supplements that I think are crucial are the fat soluble vitamins, especially vitamin D3 and vitamin E. Those are very good for your hormonal production. And last bonus tip here is to walk daily. I can't stress that enough for people that are not seeing the results they want. It could be, you work a job sitting in an office all day, but you are putting in time in the gym, you're eating your diet good, but you're still not seeing results. It could simply be because you're not getting enough movement throughout the day. So kind of be aware of that, and don't overdo it like I talked about with the training. You can do the same thing with walking, being obsessed. I like to recommend 8 to 10,000 on the lighter end, especially when you're cutting and not having a huge caloric intake. So be aware of that. You want to be moving, pretty consistently throughout the day. Getting outdoors is going to be crucial, going to be healthy for your hormones, going to be healthy for your sleep, so on and so forth. So I hope these tips help with you guys. This isn't the end all be all. These are just some pointers that I wanted to share with you guys. If you have any questions or comments, drop them below, and don't forget to subscribe. Thank you guys.